Well, you didn't do what I hoped you would do, which is really go through the detail, but you're kind to mention all of the work that's been done. We've actually come a very, very long way in providing the Commission with the tools it needs to deal with the reality of the international trade on the oceans. And the new piece of legislation, the Reauthorization Act, which Mr. Johnson is the lead on it this year, is going to further provide the necessary tools and strengthen the existing tools that the FMC needs to deal with a very rapidly changing environment.
Yes.
When we started, the 2022 bill really came about in part because of the pandemic and all of the changes that occurred there. The situation, that is the ocean shipping situation, remains very, very volatile. So the new legislation will provide additional tools. I want to commend the Commission for taking up the 2022 bill and using it to deal with practices that are simply not fair. It took a while to do it. We've had discussions about this in previous hearings. I remember one in California not so long ago, that you were in the process of trying to understand the new law and then implement it in the regulatory processes using the rather difficult but necessary process of putting in place regulations and rules. I want to commend you for having done that. I see your colleague, Commissioner back there, who's interested in having done this piece of work. So we're going to carry forward. The new piece of legislation provides some additional clarity and additional strength to the work you do. Also authorizes a higher level of funding, and that's been talked about back and forth here, of $49,200,000. Looks like you're probably going to, if we can hold at $40 million in this environment, we ought to be quiet, take the money and run, and go back to work. But the future is out there. So if we can put in place a authorization of 49 and then ramp it up over the years, to ultimately in 4 years to 57 million, you'll be able to bring back on board the necessary staff and deal with the very rapidly changing. The tariff issues are out there. They're going to have an effect. If you'd like to speak to that, Ms. Dye, I would urge you to do so. Be careful. You don't want to go jump into that snake pit. But
thank you.
Just the effect that it may have on you.
I talked and corresponded with several of our major ports recently. The reasons for port congestion are different. I've done now 4 major fact findings during periods of extreme dislocations. The results are always the same.
Well,
and so it's why I look to encouraging more port processes that are clear and predictable. But the volatility is
well, we're going to be in a very volatile situation, certainly for the remainder of this year and perhaps on into next year, and it'll have some significant. Also, the continued consolidation, and as you said earlier, 5 of the 6 biggest are really government-controlled carriers. And so the FMC, the original reform, and then the new Reauthorization Act will provide you with additional tools to deal with that. I know that Mr. Johnson will undoubtedly add to this and provide more clarity along the way. But thank you for your service and your colleague who's there in the front row to the far. That would be to the far right or the far left, right down the middle. I yield back. Oh, one more, if I might.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank the chairman of the committee and the ranking member of the committee. The Reauthorization Act is your work as well as Mr. Johnson and mine. So thank you, both of you, for your support and for your insight and the development of the bill. Thank you.